Big eyes, please.
What big? Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to Marriage Motivating Moments. We are yours truly, Elianah Connie and Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining us for another great night of conversation. We want to, first of all, thank those of you who continue to support us, who continue to like and subscribe on YouTube, those who continue to view us right here on Facebook, those who continue to email us and text us and send us your blessings. We want you to know that we do not take it lightly, and we are grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you to those who viewed our show from 2 weeks ago on Rebellious Children. More than 3,000, I think it's like 3,600 views on that particular topic alone. And so we want to say thank you. And because it was such a hot topic, we decided that we'd go back and revisit it once again, and that we would bring on some special guests to have this conversation with us. You have anything you want to say, baby?
No, I just want to get right to it and bring our guests on, and let's have a wonderful conversation.
All right, they're coming on. Here we go. Hello. Facebook Live family, YouTube family, please welcome to the Marriage Motivating Moments for the very first time, but definitely not the last, Mr. and Mrs. Miles. That is Lee and Janine.
Gigi for me.
We call her Gigi, right? But her name is Janine Miles. Also, she's a fantabulous personal trainer, and she is on Facebook Live. You can give more information. I'm gonna let her give you her information and give herself her own shout out. But just tell us a little bit about you all. Tell us about how long you've been married. Give us just a little history, how you met, how long you've been married, and how the children came into be the blended family, and just give the people a little bit of history before we get into the conversation. Go right ahead.
Okay, so my husband and I, Lee and I, we've been married for 14 years. And Lee and I, we met at the gym. So we was basically in the gym and we were talking, and one thing led to another. And then we were together for about 3 years before we decided to get married. We also have 2 children, which is Lee Sean Miles, which is 25 years old, and then my daughter Portia, which is 37 years
old. And no grandchildren yet, right?
No grandchildren, no.
No grandchildren.
Hallelujah.
It's cute because y'all got on twin shirts and we twinning over here, so I like that. That's cute.
Why don't you put your glasses
on? Oh, thank you.
I can't see, but I think I'm cuter without my glasses, right? So that's why I have them on. But I will be putting them on any second because I have to be reading what the people are saying, and so I don't have my glasses on today. And my husband, he really don't like my haircut, so I tried to make up and put makeup on and everything because he is furious over me having to cut my hair. He think I went and did it on purpose, but I didn't. It's a long story, but anyway, it's hair and it grow back. And I got Lala up in the closet, so I'm gonna throw her on tonight when we get off of here and let her hang down 20 inches because I can't.
Come on, Lala. Come on, baby. We're going to have a short discussion tonight.
Oh, my God.
I want to see Lala. Yeah, hey, Lee, I want to see Lala.
We're going to put Lala out tonight so you could be okay, all right? But no, we are grateful that the two of you are here. And Lee and Gigi, that's what we call them, Lee and Gigi. They are dear friends. Actually, Gigi is my husband's god sister. They've been a part of one another's lives
forever,
their entire lives,
forever.
And we just thought that it would be great to have another couple on to have this conversation and just talk about our children, how to love our children through the process. And also, Lee and Janine have a blended family, right? Because Lee's son and Gigi's daughter. So it's a blended family, even though both of them have one child each. You still have to remember that these two personalities, two families, two histories are coming together. And so for them, even in the 14-year period, they have had some challenges that they've had to work through in order to be able to sit here today and have this conversation. So let's start with the fact of the matter is that we wanted to talk about, and I will also want to say that somebody said, well, my children aren't bad children. And we're not saying, when we talk about rebellious children, we don't have bad children either. Our children are not bad children. So when we talk about rebellious children, we're talking about children, our children who don't necessarily do what we say. They don't respect. They buck up. You know what I mean? They have a word for every word that we say. Unlike when we were coming up, when your parents spoke, you didn't have nothing to say. And so today in the 21st century, that has totally flipped. And so we wanted to have this conversation to encourage those of you who are parents, who are experiencing some of the things that we experience as well as parents, with in our 30-year marriage and in our blending of the families coming together. There are challenges that actually happen, and we felt it necessary to have these conversations so that people understand that you're not alone, like you're not by yourself, right? And that somebody else is dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with, even today. And so, like I told my husband, our oldest son, who is 40, right, he's kind of like in the other generation. Right, he wasn't that kid, you know what I mean? But if we talk about those 21st children, those 21st century children, the generation Z's and the generation X and Y's and the 19, 17, 16, 15, 21, that generation has somehow in their mind figured that they can tell us what they are and are not going to do, but want to live in our household, eat our food, right? Use our bath water, or use our water, do their laundry, drive our cars. Hello. And then
Mhm.
don't want to, do what we say. And so we wanted to encourage some of those parents out there, how we can handle some of those situations, right, baby?
Yeah, the thing is that we're talking about the inclinations that our children develop through their personal development that they didn't learn from us. And when they come out of pocket and we see a characteristic that is very foreign or alien, we raise questions. And sometimes children have a very hard time. The old grandmothers, the mamas used to can be cooking at the oven in their black skillet. And you can walk in the room and they can read your face without you opening your mouth or turning around and know the kind of spirit that you carrying. So for some strange reason, they think that all of a sudden, when they reach a certain age, we don't know them. And that is so totally incorrect. And so when you use the word rebellious, it's not meaning that your child also, some have that situation. They go out there, they want to try the streets, they want to try other things that's not healthy for them, both mentally and physical, because mental health and fine in terms of being incarcerated, that's a mental situation too, because it does it stagnates your mind, your thinking, and things in that nature. So, but the point I'm making is that, Lee, what are you from you seeing and also from your professional life, you've seen many stories or you've seen many experiences of young men and women who rebelled and came from good parents, good families, loving parent, single parent or both parents, but had a village surrounding them, but they just decided they wanted to do it their way. So, it's like a hard head make a soft behind. What before we get into our personals, what do you, and from your experience, maybe you could tell people, what I mean from that, because you just retired, congratulations, and
Yes.
and what have you. But so many men that you've seen for years of the wrong decision, children not listening to their parents, having mothers come in every weekend, grandmothers come in, the baby's parents come in, his mother's children come dragging in, and the danger in that, because it's the statistics say that even if a child come and visit their parent incarcerated 5 times, that child is hot likely to return as a prisoner themselves. So can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, from what I've seen from my experience is that I know when they come in there, if they don't push themselves mentally, I think their growth stops. They stop learning and they just start picking up habits while they're in there, and they don't worry about reading or writing or anything like that, or even think about ever leaving a place and thinking that they can be something other than an inmate. You know, they don't think outside the box like that. Once they get in there, it's like everything shuts down. You know, so they need that guidance from counselors, or if someone, someone to take interest in them, let them know that, you can be more than what, once you get in here, just use this as an opportunity to rebuild. But a lot of them get in there and they get stagnant. They comfortable. And I've never seen that before. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, take advantage of some of this stuff that they have in here. I've seen some that did take advantage of it, and they went on to actually be successful. You would never know they was ever locked up when you see them. You're like, wow, take advantage of it. Some of them, they just don't, they got all the answers, or like you said, the ones that come visit, I looked at it like this, that juvenile is like high school, and then when you go to the adult system, that's like college. So they look forward to that, and I've never seen that. I'm like, yo, that's where you want to go, end up. That's where you're gonna go if you don't change. But it's like they don't care, and I'm like, wow, that was mind blowing to me to see them. They ready to graduate with the big boys, and I'm like, no, you're not. You don't want to go there. But that's where they wind up going.
But how often have you seen children that they came from good homes and they just rebelled against, the love, the care, the security, the village, the family that surrounded them, and didn't listen, and now they end up here and wish they did listen?
Well, there were a couple of them, and that is what baffled me, because I'm like, your mother and father is a doctor, one is a lawyer. You live in a very upscale community. So how did you end up here? And evidently, I'm thinking they're assuming that what they see going on down the hill is more exciting than them living in the suburb. And they will go out their way to go down there just to be hanging out, and and you're not even built like that, but they like the excitement. And then when they end up there and you look in the background, you're like, why are you here? Yeah, I made some bad decisions. My friends, because of his friends and stuff, I get it, but you didn't have to travel that way. Somebody's laying the ground for you to follow, and you're not even trying to follow it. You're going in the wrong direction. So that's what baffled me. Like, I wish my parents were doctors and lawyers. I'm following what they doing. They making it. I ain't trying to hang out in the streets and do that kind of stuff. But that's what really had me perplexed, as far as some of these kids coming in here from good backgrounds. You got a big room, flat screen TVs. You hanging out with guys who don't have a home, who don't have a place to sleep. They scrapping every day. You don't even have to scrap. Food on your table every day. Lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you end up here because you want to be down with the boys. I'm like, wow, it's just a lot of it, that happens. And I don't see where they see the fascination and want to hang out like that on the corners and stuff, just be part of something like that when you got it already at home. You don't even realize what you have.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked that question is that, we often, like, I have 7 sons, so, and a daughter, but we always want to be very mindful. We want to be very protected of them, because, we know what's ahead and we know what the results are. So when we see certain inclinations of talking back, being disrespectful, trying to stay out at night long, hanging out with the wrong characters, we can see in your friends, we can read these kids very quickly. And so when we see that and we ask certain real structural important questions that have value to us and what we put into our children. And so when they give us back those answers, we are able to analyze and say if this is a good situation for you or not. And at the end of the result, we don't want you being led astray. Now, a lot of them say, oh, I'm grown, I'm 18. Well, really, that's when you start getting grown at 18? Who told you that? Where they do that at? But for some reason, in this particular world environment, is really anti-parenting, is anti the value systems that come from parents, because they want, in the schools, they want to tell you, you got your own mind. You can do what you want to do. You can think for yourself. These are code words for rebelliousness. These are code words for going down and going the wrong way. Oh, I can do what I want to do. So then they start to feel that, And in that environment that they have, you take your good children, you put them in that environment, but then you don't put them in that environment, but there's other things that influence them. It can be through music, it can be through their social systems, it definitely through social media and etc. So when you look at G and Lee, when you look at your children, your sons and daughters, and the challenges, what have been some of the challenges that you overcame with them, and then they seen the positive results from it? But it was a struggle for you. But it was a struggle for you to get them. You understand their attention, to trust you again, and not people out in the street. Because we'll say, listen, you just met them. I raised you my whole life, you know. And women would say, I carried you in my womb, boy, for 9 months. I brought you here, and I take you out of here. And you know, they call, you better get this boy, you better get this girl now. I'm telling you, better come over here and get her. Or you better go on in with your phone. You better come. So just explain that to me, you know.
Well, to be honest, I'm still working on it. You know, I mean, some of the stuff that I was told that, you know, I didn't go to college. How can you tell me something you never did? You know, and I was like, whoa. I said, yo, that's hitting way below the belt. You don't realize you disrespected me. And I'm trying to use everything in me to keep from going through it, you know. And I'm trying to talk to him now, man, trying to explain to him, I'm 54 years old. You're 25. I've been here 25 more years longer than you. So how can you tell me something that you don't even know? Like you said, we can see things that they're going through, and we know what's getting ready to happen if they don't do A, B, C, D first. If they think they're gonna go from A straight to F, no, there's stuff in between you have to do in order to get there. They expect us to take that leap and think it's there, it's done. And no, it's not done. You got to build. You're building your stuff up on sand. You don't even realize it. You're building it on sand. It's gonna crumble. You know.
That's why I call quicksand. Quick.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I'm still working with him. I know he called me this week. I sensed a different tone in his voice. He was trying to hold back some stuff from saying stuff to me, but he realized he what's the term I'm looking for? He oh man. When he burned his bridges, basically he realized he burned his bridges with me because he need me now. Now he needs me, so his talk is different. You know, and I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but you still got to work. Everything, you can do anything in this world if you have hard work. Nobody said you had to have a college degree to be successful.
Right.
Show me that in any textbook, then I'll go to college. But there's a lot of people in the world that's making a living and being successful, and they don't have a college degree. But I don't know who told him that.
Right.
You know?
But even with you not having your degree, you had a successful life. I mean, you worked hard.
Exactly.
And you were able to, now you can retire and sit back and enjoy your life and do what it is that you want to do without that degree. But let me ask you.
I want to say something before you go there. Lee, the thing is, show your son your tax returns. Say, listen, I got 6 figures. I didn't have a degree, but I have 6 figures. I paid, and show them the years. I got almost 20 years. I made 6 figures, over 6 figures every year. So,
right.
So tell me, if you go to college and you get a degree, in my Bernie Mac voice, you go to college and you get a degree. You get your degree in social work. Social workers only make $32,000 a year. I didn't go to college, but I made 6 figures a year and fed you and clothed you and took care of you. So until you want my shoes, you need to go sit down somewhere, partner.
But I was going to ask Lee, you know, at what point did your son get to that point? Like all along, like when his early teen years, was he pliable? Was he listening to you even back then, like 14, 15? So at what point did it change? Like, did the dynamics change?
Well, like Samad said, in school, I don't know, because he started out at West Virginia. And that first year in West Virginia, like Samad said, and I kind of noticed it a little bit too, when I took him with orientation. They said you have to give your parents permission. And I knew right then and there, I'm like,
oh yeah.
So I started asking him, and he was like, he was kind of reluctant to give me his pass. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, bro.
Oh, you know what I did, Lee? You know what I did with mine? I said, okay, we here. We at the school. We finished paperwork out. Okay. I said, I want the email address. I want the emails coming to me. I want refund checks coming to me. I want the passcodes to log in. Why I gotta do that, Daddy? Well, you don't want to do that. Then I ain't paying a dime.
Right, exactly.
You ain't getting a dime from me. So you carried, how you gonna not pay? I'm not gonna pay for something I don't have access to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they tell them in college,
They
oh,
tell me, yeah.
you know, you can't, you if you call and say, oh, well, I'm inquiring about my son. Oh, we can't give you that information.
You're
Oh,
not
but
on the
every
list.
time, but when I send you that money, you could take all my money, but you can't give me no information when it comes to my child. Okay.
Exactly. So it was about 18 when he really started doing that. And I was like, okay, we got a problem. You know, and even his mom started noticing it too. So I was like, okay, we got to
And what
work.
about you, G? How
I'm
have you
sorry.
been? I said, what about you with your daughter? Did you ever, what were some of the challenges you experienced as a mom? You know, even before you got married, leading up to it, did you see signs beforehand? And how did you maneuver through those situations? What things did you do?
I pretty much with Portia, I didn't really recognize some things, and when it did come out, it was probably when she got in her like 20s is when she started to, to show different things to me. And at that point, I couldn't really relate to her or really thought that, pretty much everything was going fine. And then till when she got up into her 30s, and, when they get to that place where they think that they are entitled to
Mm-hmm.
some things, and you have to tell them, no, it doesn't work like that. Then all the teenage years of doing things with her, like she kind of just threw that at me and said, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, this is what you should have been doing, or this is what I wanted you to do," and all that type of
Well,
thing.
yeah.
And I'm going to be very transparent. It wasn't a very good feeling to hear those things, because if they were addressed at that time, that would have been addressed. But when she got older, it was just like this. It was really like just bumping heads to a point where it was so disrespectful that I had to lean back. And that was the hardest thing that you have to do when you have to lean back from your children because they are rebelling from something. And if I had a knew then, yeah, we would have gotten that type of help or whatever we needed to make the situation better. But I can finally say that now at 37, when my mom used to always say to me, "Oh, when she gets it's the frontal lobe. When she gets this age, it's going to be a little better." And I'm sitting back waiting, like, when am I going to be here to see this? you know. But now I can finally say that we had to go through so many times to get to this point, and it was a real struggle that I guess we both on her and on mine, we probably was like, look, hands up, I'm done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can say at her age of the maturity,
Yeah.
at 37 years old, she's finally has come to a point where it's working.
Yeah. And you and Gigi also was her mom's only daughter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when it was you and your mom, just reflect back, you know, when you were coming up with your mom, were you always respectful? Did you do what mommy said? You know what I mean? Did you and your mom bump heads as a teenager or in your early 20s? Or what did you
You
have
mean,
that kind of mom? We just did what they said.
well, do you mean that she bumped my head because back in that time you wasn't saying nothing? Because she give you that look and you just go to, you're right at attention and stuff. So it wasn't those back and forth words. We didn't have that. But with my daughter, they felt that, I guess, in that generation, that,
So,
oh, I'm just giving you my truth. Now this is what it is. I'm giving you my truth.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
That truth
yeah.
is disrespectful to me, the way you're handling it, because I
right.
was brought up.
Yes.
So Gigi, you didn't pick up the overhand open slap from your mother?
No, my brother did, not me. No,
Oh, your
I
brother.
yeah, he was a challenge. He challenged it, but I never did because I seen what the outcome was, and I was a
You were
little
very clear.
I did that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you never used the overhand smack on your child. you know.
No, because you know what? The crazy thing, when I used to see my brother get them things, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to ever do that. And I think that's what my problem was, because I never did that.
You know
I
what?
just,
Right.
I never did that. And now that I think back, I said, maybe that's what I should have been doing.
Say you spare the ride, you spoil the child. Say you spare the ride. And see, the thing is,
Yeah.
we grow up and the negative things that we may have experienced in our lives, we grow up with the attitude, well, when I have my children, I'm not going to do that. That was, you say that before you have them, but once you have them, all that is going out the window. And the thing, the reason being is that there's so much profound truth. And if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And then, so the thing is that most people think that, people say, oh, we live, daddy, we're in a different time. No, ain't nothing new under the sun. Human inclinations is still the same. I don't care what, if it's from the Stone Ages to Apple iPhone, how you act and conduct yourself as a human being, as a person, is the same. And honoring your parents and respecting your elders and your seniors and those in need is a requirement that you must have. That's just the basic necessity. But they think today that this world, or you owe them something. You understand? Because they got this notion in their head, and I don't know where it came from. But like I always tell you, better take it back where you picked it up at and leave it. And if you paid for it, ask for a refund. But don't come here with that kind of stuff, because if you do, it's going in the trash can and it's going to be a problem up in here. You follow what I'm saying?
And I think, and we have Sister Cook on the line. She said we are living in a different time. She hit Twilight Zone. I feel like the Twilight Zone.
But I also believe that sometimes I'll be like, it's this. Lee, I don't know if it's just happening in my house, but I want to ask you and those in our audience. But it seems, and I don't know if I'm in a Twilight Zone, but it seems like sometimes there's individuals invading in my home that I don't know, and they got a different character, and I don't know who they are. And then like they drink my juice, they eat my sweets. I come and look for it, and I ask, well, who drank my food or ate my sweets? And they say, I don't know.
No, they say, not me.
Not me.
Said, not
so
me,
who is it not me?
What?
You know what I mean? Who is it not me? So when I look at them, I said, who are you? I'm your son, not you.
Right.
Is that I'm your son? No, you not my child. Yes, I am. No, you not my child. And why you say that? I said, because the way you acting and conducting yourself is not the child that I raised. Right. So don't come around me with something happening that I didn't teach you or give to you. Sure. You follow what I'm saying? So, and so they say this thing, oh, we living in a different time. Oh, you in the old age, you in the Stone Ages. Oh, really?
I was called a dinosaur.
Huh?
I was called a dinosaur. But he wants my toys, though.
Yeah, he wants your toys, wants your money too.
Yeah, and my mother used to say all the time, one day you're gonna have your own children, and my mother used to tell me that all the time. One day you're gonna have your own daughter, and she's gonna show you what this is all about. Thank God I never had a daughter, because I was a piece of work. And I had all sons, so I didn't get that experience. But my mother, basically what she was saying, when you get older and you have to raise your own children, you're going to find out what it takes. And it's not as easy as we make it look. And it's so very true. Mm-hmm. Even my youngest son, about a year or so ago, he had really branched out, moved on his own. He had graduated from college a few years. He was really living on his own. And he said, Mommy, you and Daddy really made this look easy. Like this here adulting, parenting thing, like y'all made it look too easy. Because that's anything, that's what it did. And I said, you're right. We did. You guys never got to see what it really takes to do what we do. Y'all didn't get to see it. I mean, they saw it, but they didn't know the details of what it took to get them to be where they are today. And so even when my children try to say, well, I did this and I did that, and I think I said this on the last show, people, and even my girlfriend and I were having a conversation, because our children seem to think like they got to where they are on their own without the help of their parents, right? And so I had to make it clear to my children. I said, let me tell you something. The days that you sat at the table, got your snack and did your homework and wasn't able to get up from that table till you finished your homework, those were times, right? That's why you can go to a college and ace out, because the training, what you learn in the home, right, has
Yeah.
followed you. And that's why when scriptures say train up the child in the way he should go, when he's old, will not depart, because you learn these things. You learn how to cook, you learn how to clean, you learn how to take care of yourself, you learn how to provide, you learn how to drive. Come on, you learn these things based on what your parent taught you in the household. So yeah, you can go out and get you a scholarship, right, at $50,000, $60,000 a year and go to college. But guess what? There was a foundation. You didn't just wake up and be that person. And that's what I try to get even the young people that I mentor, because some of them have had a story. They do have stories, but you have to remember that there is a stepmom, an uncle, an auntie, a teacher at a school, a counselor, a social worker, somebody that poured into you, right, to help you to make a sound decision to be better for your life. And so that's why I say, our children, I try to get them to understand that no matter what our parents, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, your parents aren't perfect. Like, we don't get it right every time. We are not the model parent. We didn't have a manual. We didn't pick up a book and read on how to properly parent, right? So it was trial and error. But like my husband says, y'all have to look for the good. What good did your parents give you? Is there any good?
Yeah.
The first good is that they birthed you, right? Even if you was a
Food,
child,
shelter, and clothing.
but even if you was a
You
child,
never went to bed hungry, and you never went to bed with no lights on. You never
right? But I'm
house,
saying, for
never...
one of my children said, "Well, I don't know my mother. My mother didn't do that for me." Okay, but somebody did. It may not have been your mother, but where was your auntie, your uncle, your granny? Somebody did these things for you, right? And so because you had that person in your life, you can't just negate that, even if they're not present anymore. There was a foundation that was laid, and I try to get all the children that I talk to understand that we love y'all, but we have to correct you. Our parents loved us, but they had to correct us. It's a totally different time. Our parents corrected us with a belt, a extension cord, a hanger, a switch off a tree, anything they could get their hands on, right? We didn't call that abuse. Nope. Society didn't say that was abuse. Society didn't tell us to call the police or call defects. You understand what I'm saying? Or DIFAS. Here is what?
Defects. And then
there is DIFAS, but they didn't write New Jersey's DIFAS. But they didn't tell us to do those things. What happened was you took it and you bared it. You know what I mean? And we got the scars to prove it, but it helped us to become who we are. Now society tells our children, you don't have... They can't put their hands on you. You know what I mean? If they put their hands on you, you can call defects. Or even some parents, if he touch you, if she touch you, you call the police. You know what I mean? And so there's this mentality that's out there now that we don't have to listen to you. We don't have to do what you say. I'm at a certain age now. I can do what I want to do. Well, if you want to do what you want to do, guess what? Grab your sneakers, the one pair that I'm going to let you take out of here, right? And that outfit you got on, and go on your way. Because if you can't follow the rules of this household, that means you grown and want to be on your own. Yeah. So don't take no backpack, don't take no suitcase, don't take no overnight bag, none of that.
You're going out with your birth suit.
Right.
How about that?
How about that?
Now, I want to, Janine and Lee, maybe you can answer this question. Well, what did you find to be your solution in terms of your approach to deal with when you're trying to get across to your children what they really need? Like I don't try to be my children's friend. I'm not going to be your friend. I'm your father. I'm your dad. I'm not going to be your friend, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, and I'm not going to go along with it just because you think it's right. And my whole thing, I often say, just because you think it doesn't mean that it's correct. You can think what you want, but it doesn't mean that it's correct. And I'm gonna always, as your parent, tell you what is best for you. So if you come to me, you're gonna get what I think is the best position that you should take. Now, that may not fall in line. That may not fall in line with what you're trying to do and want to convince me that what you're trying to do is the best thing to do. And if I don't go along with it, then I don't support you. I don't care about you. I don't love you.
Right.
I ain't never there to help you. I ain't never done nothing for you, because I don't agree with an action or a conduct or a behavior that you want to portray. Like I know you. So I know you're not made of bricks. You follow what I'm saying? Because you didn't come up under bricks. So I know you. So like Lee, it's like them kids come out of them good homes and come in here. They come and be with the adult guys. You ain't built for this. You're not built like this. They gonna swallow you up. You're gonna be somebody's maid servant for real. You feel what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is what solutions did you come up that may be helpful for somebody that's listened to this in terms of how to open up that level of communication to get your children to realize and to act upon the good that you're trying to express to them?
Well, for me, like you said, I started out trying to be a friend, but that was a bad idea to the point to where now I have to fall back because every time we communicated, we was always arguing. So I said, okay, you got all the answers. I see where it's going. I see where he's going. He don't even realize it that I see where he's going. And I just sit back and wait for him to come to me. That's all I could do. I just sit back and wait for him to come to me. When he come to me, I'm coming at him kind of hard. Not hard, but truth. Like you said, they telling you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. He tried to come up here, get a job at Prudential in Newark. I said, well, what steps did you take to prepare to come up here? You accepted a job in Newark, but you ain't got a place to stay. I said, you see how backward that is? You just graduated college. So I don't understand how that brain's working, but you don't do that. First, you establish your home base. You establish a place to live first. Call around up here and find out what it costs to get into these apartments and stuff. I mean, I love you, but I'm not paying for no apartment for you.
Right.
I told you, save your money, save your money, save your money.
They won't listen.
Right. The one word I noticed that a lot of them hate is it's a 4-letter word, and it's called work. It's a problem. You say that word work,
Let me tell you this. I'm like that. I'm like that now. Like if my children want to come home, you got to come in my house. You better have a humbling spirit. Because I got space. But if you ain't humble, you ain't bringing that in my house. You're not going to disrupt my space. You're in college, you free will, you do what you're doing. You know what these kids doing. I don't know what that weed they smoking today because it's definitely frying their damn brain.
Yeah.
It ain't the weed that folks were smoking when I was younger. That was a different kind of weed. They got some synthetic, they got some chemicals and stuff that it's borderline crack cocaine, the way it's frying their brain. It is. It's borderline. They put chemicals in crack, and they put a bombing fluid. I don't know what they put because they walking around like they zombies, for real. Because I don't know what this stuff and it stink. Weed didn't used to stink. Weed used to smell good. You don't get a contact from what they smoking today. You get knocked the hell out. That's so the whole thing is when you look at that, my thing is you ain't coming up in my house with that. You ain't coming around me with that. You're not gonna come in my house. And one of my son's friends came over, and his whole body lit up.
Yes.
I caught the wind. I said, man, man, you gotta leave out my house, bro. You gotta leave out of here. And I'm spraying Lysol and everything behind him as he leaving. Remind me of the little dirt boy in Charlie Brown with the dirty blanket. The dust falling behind. That's that weed falling right behind him. It gets in your clothes. It's all over your place. And so the point I make is you're not gonna bring them kind of friends, and you're not gonna, because that's not my home. My home is my sanctuary.
Yes.
My home is my palace. It's my place of worship. It's my place of comfort and peace. And I don't need this. And you ain't coming in here with that. Now you go wherever you want to go, but you ain't coming over here and you bringing drama. I'm not having it. We watch movies called love stories, action, venture, and drama. I don't watch drama. I don't want no drama. Keep your drama somewhere else. I got love stories. Oh, what you say? Libby gonna be on tonight?
You know what?
So
Focus.
Hey,
We talking about our children,
Lee,
loving our children.
But I'm talking about my home being a happy and a pleasant home, because I didn't raise you to be rebellious. I didn't raise you to be disrespectful. I didn't raise you to be lazy. I didn't raise you to be selfish and greedy and envious. I didn't raise you to that. I raised you to look for the good in each other and in yourself and build upon that good. So you follow what I'm saying? So yeah, you go to college, I help you, but you think I'm gonna help you when you got finished just out of the other side of your mouth? You telling me, well, how could you gonna tell me to do something and you didn't go to college? Well, how the hell you think you gonna ask, or I'm gonna offer you to come stay with me? No, go get you a job, get you a place to stay, and then go and etc. Go get you a loan to get your apartment, because you don't need mine. You don't need my ungraduated self money, and I'm in my 6 figures, and I'm getting a nice pension.
And the other thing is, I think that with this generation, is the language barrier. Like these young people, they just, every word out of their mouth is just.
In the 3rd grade.
It goes back to social media, the society we're in, the music they're listening to, all those kind of things that they, that's influencing our children. I work in education, and it's just every other word these kids, it's almost like, and then some of the kids, they be like, oh, my bad, Miss A, I didn't see you. But then other kids just like, okay,
and they use that B word to each other like crazy.
Unbelievable.
The B word, the whore word, the F
word, the F bombs, and they say that enough to blow you up. I'm telling you.
It's insane. It's insane.
And so our challenge is to, even my challenge is, like I said, it really, and not in our household. Like I didn't hear any of my children. I didn't hear children. They were rebellious, in the last few generations, them Generation Z, X's, whatever they are. They challenged me in a many ways, and they challenged my husband more than me, because but I had to kind of swallow the pill and let him handle it, right? But if I had my way, there would have been some backhands thrown, right? And there would have been some different punishments. I would have gave them, how I raised the other children, but I didn't have the liberty to do that, right? And so I'm grateful that they never used that profanity with him, because I don't know that I could have endured that. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't enough just to be rebellious. It's just enough. I don't got to do what you tell me to do. I don't feel like doing it, and sucking their teeth and raising up and big, getting your chest big and rolling your eye. Why do I do that? I don't get that. So I had to learn how to draw back and allow him to handle it, because I knew that there was other forces, right, that he had to deal with, and how to try to maintain his relationship with the children. So it was very difficult, but we got through it. Now I can say, I think when I would always say, we weren't perfect, but look for our good. What good can you look at and pull from your parents and say, I got that from my mom, or I got that from my dad, or I got that from my stepmom, or I got that from my stepfather? Look for the good, because people can always find your bad. They're going to always find the negative, what you didn't do right and how you didn't do right. And even now, I have conversations with my children, because I do realize that I didn't get it right. Right. Yeah. And so we do have adult conversations, just like I did with my mom when I became an adult. Mommy, when we were growing up, this happened, that happened. I'm not mad at you, but I just wanted you to know this is how it made me feel. And I think that we can do that. And I think that we should allow our children to do that, and not, as long as they're respectful, as long as they talk to you, in adult way. We're all adults here, right? But always remember that I'm always going to be your mommy. This going to always be your daddy, right? So we can have those conversations. We can talk about the things where you felt like I messed up, or I didn't get it right, or this is how I made you feel at this point in your life, and that's how I made you feel at some point in your life. And I want them to be able to talk about it, and I want to be able to apologize for the things that I did. Maybe I didn't know that I did. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm not going to apologize for giving you the best of who I was or the best of who I am, because at the end of the day, that's all I tried to do. And I didn't get it right every time. Daddy didn't get it right. Yeah, we were stern. You came from a stern household, but look at you now. You know what I mean? You got a good hold on your good head on your shoulder. You're working. You know what I mean? You got a good spiritual background. You're sound in your foundation. If I tell all of my boys, if I die today, I'm okay, because I know that each and every one of you, I gave you the best of me that I possibly could. And I know we got to get ready to wrap up. But G, I just wanted you to share, like you said, now that your daughter, you guys are better now. How did you, so the dynamics of your relationship, can you pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what I see, this is what, maybe you should do this? Or does she even call you and say, hey, mommy, this, that, and the other, what do you think about this? Are you all at that point now?
Yeah, we're now at a point where she's calling me like every day. Are you okay? What's going on? Telling me, things that are happening with her and stuff. And this is a time where this is what I've waited for so long.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where she would just like come at me, and then I had to I would kind of swallow that, because I just try to digest what was happening to me. But now it took some time to back off. I'm like, okay, she says she grown, she says she got it all. I'm just gonna lean back, because the more I kept coming and saying, if you go if you go with the approach, you should do this or you should do that, they're like, oh, that's what you used to do back in your time, but now it's a different time. So I'm letting you live your time, and I'm just gonna sit back and wait. And as I gave her that time, when they say that you have to just lean back and then the heart grows fonder, that's what happened with us. I leaned back, I let her do what she wanted to do, and then there's a time where she just started calling me, and then we started, going to the spa together and just doing things and bonding the way that that it was, without her being rebellious, because she was so very resentful with me that it was like, I'm gonna keep it real. We didn't want no part of each other.
Yeah.
But now that we're looking at each other as women, it became something different. And now we could share, or we could talk, or she'll say, okay, let's go do this together or something. So it's finally got to this time, but it was so much hard work to get to this place where we respect each other.
Yeah, but that's the love. That's that love that I was talking about. As parents, we continue to love them we just love them, even in their foolishness and their craziness and their silliness. You know what I mean? We still love them, and I tell my children all the time, regardless as to what you do, where you go, we are always going to love you, because that is very important, because we are human. We mess up.
Yeah, we do.
But God continues to love us even in our craziness. You know what I mean? My husband continues to love me even in my craziness, and vice versa. So we have to be.
But your craziness tastes sweet to me,
babe. I'm just saying, not everything tastes sweet, because some stuff you cannot stand, some stuff you don't like, some stuff you get mad. I'm talking about everything ain't rosy, okay? And even through those times, we deal with them, and you love me through the process as I love you. But there are times when it's
all for short of the glory.
Before we go to our next show dealing with Libby, I want to.
It's not Libby.
What is it?
I can't.
Well,
go ahead, baby. Say goodbye to the people.
Which one was that?
You'll find out later.
Well, whatever. But Lee, hey, the thing is, one of the things I want to leave is, and there's some wisdom in this, regardless to those that's listening as well as us. At the end of the day, when how rebellious our children are, they're going to come to understand that they're going to need us way and long before we would need them. Say it again. They will need us long before we will need them. And the reason why we're working these things out and want to work these things out with our children is because we know that there's good in you, and we want you to have a good and productive life.
Yes,
so that's long lasting. We don't want you to, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but we want to give it to you. But if you want to make your road hard, your hard head make a soft behind every day. It ain't gonna never change. And all I'm gonna do is sit back and say, and if you never, and if a child listens to this and you not being respectful to your parent,
even adult children,
because you never stop, because you never
right.
can stop needing your parents. The day, if you don't correct it now, and you wait till the breath leave their body, it's going to haunt you and eat at you for the rest of your life. Now, if you want to wait to that point, then that's on you, because you're going to wish you had the opportunity to correct, and the day will come that you're going to have to atone in yourself, that you're going to regret every disrespectful word or comment or conduct in your behavior that you did to your parents.
So
or anybody who cared for you.
Yeah, and any adult, any elder. And I want to say that the principal law is always in operation in our lives, whether we want to pick up a Bible, a Quran, a Torah or not. The principal laws are always going to be in effect. And that one law that I lived by was to honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long upon the earth.
And
Amen.
don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Well, I don't know if that's in the book.
Well, it's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book.
I don't know if it's turned exactly
it's turned.
that.
Well, I'm putting it in
the
footnote. I'm paraphrasing it, because don't bite the hand that feeds you, because you got to understand, just like you don't bite the creator that created you, because if you do, you're going to have a hellish ending forever. So therefore, you don't bite his hand and you don't bite my hand if I'm feeding you. If you bite my hand, I'm going to knock you upside your head.
So we want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our
so
guests, Gigi and Lee. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all so much. And to all of you who have viewed us tonight, either you checked us out on the replay, if you were here live, if you saw us on YouTube, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And please go like, subscribe, share, all of the wonderful things we need you to do, and share this video with somebody who you think might need it.
Now, our next show on August the 16th is going, that's right, at 7 o'clock is going to be how we made it past 30 years.
Okay.
Woo!
We're going into our, because we're going into our 31st anniversary. These shirts is outdated. They from last year. We ain't on the road to 30 no more.
We renewed our vows.
So that's the week. So we're going to try and have some powerful guests that have been married for 30 plus years.
Wow.
So we may have a whole screen full of some people. Come next week. We know a few people. We know a few couples that have been married for 30 plus years.
Yes. So we want to
we're
say
gonna
thank
get down
you.
into
What's the date again?
And 30 plus years.
August 16th.
August 16th.
7 o'clock.
We're gonna see how they keep the excitement in the bedroom after 30 years.
Y'all so much.
I'll talk to y'all later.
We love y'all.
And
thank
Janine,
you.
if any of them need some help to build up their testosterone, I'm sending them to your class. Bye-bye.
I can't.
That's crazy.